We still have 5 minutes to start, so I just thought I'll tell you a couple of things. Since many of you have been asking me about this, Bhandarkar Institute has its own publication department, and it has some excellent publications. So the shop is just adjacent to this auditorium where you all had tea. There's a small door which opens into this corridor also, you can see, but the entry is from that side. Please don't get in from this side. So those who are interested could visit the shop and have a look at the books, and if you like, you can buy the books. So just in case any one of you is interested. Other thing is, we also have an excellent library, perhaps one of the best around here, not just in Pune. I mean, one of the best in India, I would say, when it comes to Orientology. So whenever you have time, you could have a look at the library. And those who are in Pune can access the library by paying the annual fees, which is not very much. You could inquire about it in the office. We also have an e-library now, digital library, which is also very reasonably priced, and you can read the books online. So far, there are already 2,000 books which have been uploaded, and the work is in progress. So very soon there will be about 10,000 books uploaded, because we have a big digitization project going on here in Bhandarkar Institute. So please, all those who are interested can avail the benefits of all these things.
Can we see the manuscript library?
Manuscript library, we don't have time for that. Manuscript library could be otherwise seen. Only thing is, during this, because the office hours there also are 9 to 5. So let me see if, for one day, let me see if we can, do something beyond 5:30. But that is something which I cannot promise. I have to speak to the authorities and come back to you on that. But let me see if we can do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
वो मैं उनका आपके सिस्टम में देख के
हाँ
देखता हूँ क्या लिखा है पूरा।
यहाँ से हाँ बैठिए, आप बैठ के हाँ ठीक से देखिए। यहाँ से, if I'm not mistaken, subscribe to the
You subscribe to the video addresses from Baba and Raj Masal spiritual Bhakta further clearly says Rishite this I had noted. The another one.
Yeah. I would like
Dhwani
to.
and Auchitya.
Yeah. I would like to say that Bharata has put Dhwani and Auchitya together. And she thought this is also relevant to Bhava, so you could take it up in this.
Yes. औचित्यायन शृंगाररसा. The words suggest three पुरुष.
काय होतं कधी कधी बोलण्याच्या नादात माणूस हालचाल करताना तो होतो म्हणजे विचार बरेचपटे होतं कधी कधी असं.
Okay. This much only?
Yeah.
Okay.
For now this much only, but because she is very keenly watching the whole thing,
Yes, yes, yes.
she also has a lot to. सर ये माइक आप थोड़ा नज़दीक रखिए और इसको यहाँ ले आने से ना थोड़ा ये चला जाता है. इसको अगर इसका टच होता है.
त्रिपाठी जी मराठी में अंग्रेजी में दो
हाँ,
एक मिनट.
दसवां विचार रसाध्याय भावाध्याय का अनुवाद है उनका.
सेकंड लव अद्वैत
प्राय अनुवाद देखता नहीं.
अदा मद्रासले वासित अद्वैत.
मुझको मराठी अगर अच्छी आती होती तो मैं तो फिर भी मैं पढ़ूंगा, पढ़ लेता हूँ.
दर्शना सिंह जनरल
कांगड़े जी तो बहुत अच्छे
मराठी
स्कॉलर
में कुछ मुसीबत नहीं.
हैं.
आपकी हिंदी
बाकी दर्शनों में
बहुत अच्छा
हल्का
लगता
गति
है.
है. अद्वैत वेदांत.
सर थोड़ा सच में हिंदी में भी अगर हो क्योंकि उसका एक मतलब लोगों को
लहजा
हाँ लहजा आपका बहुत प्यारा है और हिंदी का जो लुत्फ है वो भी थोड़ा उठा सके हम आपके तो
हाँ लेकिन यहाँ ऐसे भी लोग हैं जो हिंदी बिल्कुल नहीं समझते हैं.
विशेषकर वेबिनार में कोई होगी.
नहीं वेबिनार में कोई ऐसे नहीं है लेकिन यहाँ पे लोग हैं जो नहीं समझते पूरी तरह से.
जैसा है वैसा ही चलने दीजिए.
हाँ मतलब आप जितना हिंदी में शिफ्ट हो रहे हैं उतना ठीक है.
अरे क्या नहीं ओके.
हाँ आई थिंक वी कुड स्टार्ट. क्या क्या
No, I will not say it. Go ahead.
नो नो
You observe your timetable. That's very precious thing.
Yes.
I sometimes feel like a villain, you know.
There has to be somebody
That
who's
is
a
the right
vendor.
role. That is the right role.
I was just going to say in the last section of the discussion, somehow no one mentioned Nirveda.
शांत.
Nirveda is an important concept.
Yeah.
Thank you. Before I come to the 7th chapter, Dr. Saroj Deshpande, who is a well-known scholar on Natya Shastra and is connected with webinar, she has raised some very pertinent points. And one point raised by her we had already covered, that the omission of Sthai Bhava in the Rasa Sutra, it is because Sthai Bhava is implied there, so that is taken up. She has also suggested that Sthai Bhava is implied. We were discussing the same thing, and we agree that Sthai Bhava, because it is implied, so it is not separately mentioned. She perhaps couldn't listen to it. It was in the discussion when Kutum Shastri ji was raising some question. But since she has gone through the text minutely, and we couldn't read the text, actually either we read the Rasadhyaya with Abhinav Bharati for 1 week, line by line in Abhinav Gupta's comment. Even then complete Abhinav Gupta we won't be able to cover. This I have done. I proposed a workshop on Abhinav Gupta at IIS, and we tried to read Abhinav Gupta with original Natya Shastra Karikas. But then also I felt that everything is interconnected in Natya Shastra. Every Karika is connected to the other Karikas in other chapters. So unless you keep the whole text in view, you can't do justice to Natya Shastra. So therefore I started dealing with the complete text, but it is impossible to deal with the complete text also. These are the difficulties. So what happened, that Kamlesh Dutt ji came there to speak on Abhinav Gupta on Rasa Sutra. So for 2 days he could finish 4 or 5 sentences from Abhinav Bharati, and then he said, I had to go. We loved him speaking so much. So he should have stayed for 7 days, so something substantial could have been, at least his exposition of Rasa Sutra, we have reached to that.
Another
So,
10 lines.
Amnaya Siddhe ki Apuru Metat, up to that we didn't reach. Only the first, his explanation on the first Karikas he was dealing with. And then Abhinav Gupta is so profound, and Kamlesh Datji is also a profound thinker, and he can explore the text that way. So these are the difficulties of dealing with the Natya Shastra and Abhinav Gupta. So the lines which Professor Saroj Deshpande has drawn my attention, they are in my view, and they of course pose certain difficulty. One thing which she has suggested, I completely agree, that there is a kind of suggestion of the process of Vyanjana here. At 2 places, Bharat Muni, the 6th chapter has a lot of prose pieces, okay, besides the Karikas. So the word Abhivyanjayanti, it is used here. And Abhinay Vyanjitan Vaganga Sattvopetan Sthai Bhavan Aswadayanti. So at 2 places the process of Vyanjana is hinted upon, although there is no treatment to Dhvani theory as such, no system of Dhvani is here. But Rasa is something that would manifest in the process within the Prekshakas. So that process can be called Vyanjan. This Bharata indicates here. So there I agree. And the whole theatre system of which Bharat Muni is a proponent is characterized by sublime. Okay. So this also is suggesting that the element of Ochitya has to be there in all throughout the rasa process. Otherwise, Purusharth Nishpatti would not be there. So the experience of sex may be there, but Kama Purushartha would not be there in Shringara. So in cinema you are entertained, you are undergoing through the experience of love making, but you may not be motivated to Kama Purushartha, because Kama Purushartha is not simply sex. So it is the experience of beauty of life, okay, and a kind of experience of divinity of love that Kama Purushartha would involve. So Bharata Muni also suggests that Shringara Rasa should be between noble kinds of persons. Uttama Yuva Prakriti, Uttama Prakriti should be there. So the Adhama types of characters, if they do anything resembling to Shringara, that may be Shringara Bhasa, or that may not properly culminate into. So these lines, unfortunately, I couldn't notice. So Shringara Uttama Yuva Jana Prakriti, this is there. And at 2 places the suggestion for Vyanjana or Dhvani process is also there. And the element of Ochitya is always taken care of in Bharat Muni's system. So that way he speaks for a theatre which is related to the value system in our philosophy. The whole Purushartha paradigm, it correlates with. So these suggestions are very well taken care of, and they are accepted, and we are thankful to Professor Deshpande for them. It's a privilege that she is connected to us. We would have been very happy if she had been with us, but she is listening to us and viewing us, and I should keep in mind that she is viewing us. Unfortunately, I forget, and I may be saying things which may not be very appropriate if I discuss it with Saroj. When I used to discuss things with Saroj Pandey, I felt a little bit humbled in her presence. So if she had been here, I would not be that impertinent, which I become sometimes. And then a very complicated question is, I also avoided that line. So I simply explained that Rasaha Bhavascha Bhavayanti Parasparam. Okay, they lead to Bhavan of each other. So Rasas leading to Bhavas and Bhavas leading to Rasas. This is obviously said there, but there is a contradiction in, at the same place. So the question is raised in the prose piece, Kim rasebhyo bhavanam api nivritti rutaho bhavebhyo rasanam. Do the rasas come out of bhavas or bhavas come out of rasas? Keshanchin matam paraspara sambandha desham api nivritti. Some say that mutual relationship is there and they produce each other. Tanna. This is not so. Kasmat. How? Vrashyate hi bhavebhyo rasanam abhinivritti natu rasebhyo bhavanam abhinivritti. We see that rasas result out of bhavas and not out of bhavas not out of rasas bhavas are resulting. So rasas come out of bhavas, bhavas do not result out of rasas. Very explicitly said there. Immediately after that, this karika is there. Na bhavahinosti raso, na bhavarasa paraspara krita siddhis tayor abhinaye bhave. The apparently great contradiction is there. So I didn't want to discuss it to lead us to problems, and discussion also would be prolonged. Apparently, I think a twofold process is being described, because Bharat Muni says that nothing happens on theatre without rasa. So everything comes out of rasa. So as per his philosophical system and as per the fundamental philosophy of rasa, since everything is coming out of rasa, so bhavas are also coming out of rasa. But when an actor is performing and there is a logical process going on and the audience or the prekshak has to reach the rasa experience, then there will be an order. So in that order, bhavas ultimately will lead to rasa. Therefore it is true when he says that drashyate hi bhavebhyo rasanam abhinivritti natu rasebhyo bhavanam abhinivritti. Rasas come out of bhav, result out of bhavas. Bhavas do not result out of rasas. In that process, you can say kind of linear process where rasa is ultimately being reached, attained. The rasa experience is being attained by the prekshaka. Bhavas would lead to rasa. Rasas then would not lead to rasa, because rasa will be the samam bonam, the ultimate in that process. Otherwise the process is reversed. And we think of creativity and mool, the fundamental element which is at the genesis of all, then we would again say that everything is coming out of rasa, and so bhavas are also coming out of rasa. The rasa is there as seed, then only everything will come out. So both statements to me are true. There is no apparent contradiction. There is no contradiction which apparently appears. The modern scholars find many contradictory statements in Natya Shastra, and they say that interpolations are there. Even R.V. Jagirdar was such a respectable scholar, but he was a Nastik Dhuryopadhyaya, a great person. In Abhinavgupta Shabdavali, he was really a Nastik Dhuryopadhyaya, despite all these things. So he said that this whole third chapter is a later addition. It's Pramod Kale also is a scholar of Natya Shastra. He's written on Natya Shastra. He belongs to this Maharashtra. So Kale, Pramod Kale. I say Kale. We in Hindi belt always say Kale, and we write Kale because there is no Ra in Hindi. So they are Kales for us, and we say that because they were basically of black color, so they were called that way. I don't know. So they say that the all this is a defense structure. The whole Rang Devat Pujan to resist attacks on the theatric system. They brought this puja and yagya. This whole third chapter, according to Adya Rangacharya or R.V. Jagirdar, is interpolated. Many chapters are interpolations, and many portions are interpolated in Natya Shastra. But Abhinavgupta had manuscripts. Okay, he is also examining manuscripts, and he is giving the readings. he said, okay, this reading of Ashtau Natya Rasa Smrita is there, and in some manuscripts there is no mention of Shanta Rasa. I agree, but the manuscript that is given to me by my guru has these karikas dealing with Shanta Rasa, and this is a tradition. And he says that this tradition is also as old as the 8 Rasa tradition. That way, then he goes to establish why Shanta, and the tradition which upholds only 8 Rasas, ultimately there also they will culminate into Shanta. His philosophy is there. So for him there is nothing interpolated. The text which is before him, he is as much a critical editor, Abhinav Gupta, all the great commentators like Raghav Bhatta, they are critically editing the text also. So this is one view of looking at the text of Natya Shastra. To a large extent I agree with this view, that the text as we have with us is a homogeneous text. It is a complete Mahavakya in itself, and there may be apparent contradictions, but they can be resolved as per the system. So there is a system and there is a philosophy, which Abhinav Gupta, because he is the only source now left to us, so he explains. So this apparent contradictions, because the lines are immediately succeeding, उस prose piece के तुरंत बाद ही एक कारिका आती है. So those who compiled Natya Shastra and those who are having the manuscript in 10th century when Abhinav Gupta, it is not possible that they didn't notice the apparent contradictions, but they knew that this contradiction is only apparent, and there is a philosophy behind it. So that much I can say about the comments of Professor Deshpande. Coming to Bhavadhyaya, it has 119 karikas, and the treatment of bhavas is there, and the Abhinaya of 33 Sanchari bhavas, that is also discussed. Bhava Nidanim Vyakhyasyaama. Now we will explain bhavas. Atra bhava iti kasmat. One may question, why bhavas are called bhavas? Why bhavas? Kim bhavanti ti bhava, kim va bhavayanti ti bhavaha. So here, because he is dealing with the Abhinaya process, so he would not say bhavanti ti bhava. Here he would accept the second etymology. So there are two etymologies, bhavanti ti bhava, bhavayanti ti bhava. So from the point of view of performer's process, which culminates into rasa realization by the prekshaka, bhavayanti ti bhava is acceptable. So uchyate, we reply, vaganga sattvopetan kavyarthan bhavayanti ti bhava. The kavyarthas, the contents of a dramatic piece, which are enjoined with Vachik, Angik and Sattvic Abhinayas, which are presented through Sattvic, Angik and Vachik Abhinayas, and the bhavas lead to their bhavan, to their realization, therefore they are called bhavas. So bhavayanti ti bhava is an appropriate explanation according to the process of performance by an actor. So bhu iti karne dhatu. So bhu dhatu is karnarthak here, and as we say, bhavitam vasitam kratam iti anarthantaram. Bhavitam kratam, vasitam kratam is the same thing. So as you were saying that adhivasan there may mean that the whole hall is made fragmented. So here vasit is also the same thing, that a pervading kind of thing. So they lead to a kind of bhavana, a pervading experience resulting out of Vachikangik Sattvic Abhinaya when kavyarthas are presented through them. So that much I understand through these lines. Lokepi prasiddham. As they say in Loka Vyavahara also, ahohi anena gandhena rasena va sarvameva bhavitam. Sarvameva bhavitam and sarvameva vasitam. All these are treated at par, they are synonymous, these expressions. So this adore has permeated everywhere. So the way this we say this, इस गंध से सब कुछ वासित हो चुका है. In the same way, इस रस से सब कुछ भावित हो चुका है. This is all pervading kind of experience has resulted out of the performance of the kavyarthas through Angik, Vachik, Sattvic, Abhinayas. Therefore, we take the bhavan prakriya in the sense of vyapti, a kind of pervasive experience of an emotion or sthai bhava. So that would result into rasa. So the technicalities of rasa nishpatti as taken up by Lollata, that utpatti and the triple process of utpatti, vibhavadehi janitah anubhavehi gamitah and sanchari bhavehi anubhavitah. So all this is avoided in Bharat Muni. The simple explanation is that just as an adore spreads, so in the same way bhavas enable a kind of pervading experience to materialize after the Angik, Vachik, Sattvic, Abhinayas, which delineate the Kavyartha. So there is what I understand, that a sort of complex structure is created on the stage, which leads to a all-pervading kind of experience. So vibhave narato yorto anubhave istu gamyate vaganga sattva vinaye sabhava iti sangita. Yes, yeah, the process is also here. So the kavyartha, which is arhata, projected maybe, otherwise arhata would not mean here. I don't know.
Present.
Yeah, maybe presented.
Brought in.
Yeah.
Not reduced.
Yes. Introduced or brought in. And anubhavastu gamyate. It is made to be realized through anubhavas. Gaman vyapar may be inferred also. And vaganga sattva vinayehi through vachik, angik and sattvic abhinayas. That becomes bhava. That assumes the sangya of bhava. Then the same thing is repeated in number 2. Vaganga mukharagena sattve nabhinayena cha kaver antargatam bhavam bhavayan bhava uchyate. Through vachik, angik and mukharaga, here I think it would imply sattvic abhinay. Okay. So through angik, vachik and sattvic abhinayas, kave antargatam bhavam, the bhava which is inside the poet, and bhava makes it realizable, likely to be realized. So that thing which makes it likely to be realized is bhava. कवि के भीतर के भाव को जो भावित करा सकता है, वाचिक, आंगिक और मुखराग सात्विक अभिनय के द्वारा वह भाव है. Again the same thing is emphasized over. नानाभिनय संबद्धान भावयन्ति रसानिमान. विविध अभिनयों से संबद्ध रसों को जो भावित कराते हैं, भावित कराने के कारण उनको भाव कहते हैं. Abhinav Gupta's explanation is that bhavas are chitta vritti visheshas, specific chitta vrittis, and they culminate into the rasa experience. So everything is inside as a chitta vritti, and that leads to vachik, angik and sattvic abhinayas of kavyartha, and that leads to sthai bhava, and that becomes rasa. Then the definitions of vibhavas and anubhavas. So वागंगा विनयाश्रयाः बहवो अर्था विभाव्यन्ते अनेन यस्मात् तेन अयम विभावः इति संगीतः. Various types of kavyarthas through vachik, angik and angik abhinayas are made to be realized through this. Therefore, this is called Vibhava. Vibhava may be a Nayak or Nayika, and he becomes, or he or she becomes, a medium for realization of various kavyarthas. The actor representing Dushyanta would try to delineate his feelings for Shakuntala, his feeling of love. So his samvadas going on with Vachik Abhinaya, Sarasijamana Viddham Shaivalena Ramyam, all this, the beauty of Shakuntala, the way he describes through his Vachik and Angik and through his Satvik. So that character representation, the Vibhava, he becomes a medium, he or she becomes a medium of Vibhavan Vyapar, therefore it is Vibhava. And Anubhava, it becomes a medium for Anubhava, so therefore it is Anubhava. तो अनुभव इति कस्मात् उच्यते अनुभाव्यते अनेन वागंग सत्वकृतो अभिनयः इति. वागंग सत्वकृत अभिनय, इसके द्वारा अनुभव गम्य बनाया जाता है. सो the अभिनय, वाचिक, आंगिक and सात्विक अभिनय becomes experientiable because of that. So therefore it is called Anubhava. So the tears, kampan, trembling, all these vikaras, sharirik vikaras, you see. So they make it explicit. The experience which has already resulted out of vibhava, that is made explicit, and it becomes anubhav gamya, subject of experience. Therefore, the thing which leads to its experience is called anubhava. The same thing is repeated. So Vaganga Abhinaye Neha Yatastarthonubhavyate Shakhango Upanga Sanyuktas Tanubhavas Tatasmrita. Shakhang and Upanga से संयुक्त वाचिक आंगिक अभिनय के द्वारा जो अर्थ अनुभव योग्य बनाया जाता है, likely to be experienced, that medium leading to the anubhava is anubhava. Okay. Then as Bharat Muni often says that all this is based on loka yatra. So loka is the base for everything. So everything is taken from the loka and then it is recreated, redone, anukrati is done. So loka svabhav sansiddha, loka yatra anugamina, anubhava vibhavashcha geyastva vinaye budhaihi. Loka svabhav se sansiddha hai. An actor decides them by his observation and study of lokas svabhava. So they become sansiddha. उसकी स्टडी में वो अच्छी तरह से उनको समझ लेता है और लोक यात्रा में वो सतत जारी हैं. They always continue in our journey of life. So an actor, a performer or a sutradhar or a poet makes a study of these karnas and karyas and sahkaris, which are called anubhavas, vibhavas and sanchari bhavas in art. So the study of them would lead to their definite form to be represented on stage. Then they become anubhav and vibhavas in abhinaya. This is 7th 6. Tatra ashtau bhava sthayina, trayastrinshad vicharina, ashtau satvika iti bheda. So in this way they are the gamut of 49 bhavas, including 8 sthai bhavas, 33 vichari bhavas and 8 satvika bhavas. This we have taken up. एवं एते काव्य रसाभि व्यक्ति हेतवः 49 भावाः प्रत्यवगन्तव्याः. So you should understand, it is for actors and poets that they should learn, they should have avagaman of these 49 bhavas, which are hetus, which are causes of kavya rasa abhivyakti. Here also abhivyakti, the word abhivyakti is used. So the technical process of vyanjana is not there, but vyanjan, abhivyanjan and abhivyakti, these terms are here used in Natya Shastra. So they may be, because Lollata and Shankuka, they interpreted them to suit their system of their pasthana. and the whole objectivity of theatre and the performer's view, that is there in Shankuka and Dollata. So, the term Abhivyakti is used, and the Kavya Rasa has its Abhivyakti through these 49 bhavas. This also Bharatmuni says. So one should learn these 49 bhavas. And this I have highlighted, this term is very significant. So, Abhyascha Samanya Guna Yogena Rasaha Nishpadyanti. By Samanya Guna Yoga of these, Rasas result. Ras Nishpatti is there. So, the term Samanya Guna Yoga may mean many things because no definite meaning is explained here by Bharatmuni himself. Abhinavagupta would interpret them differently. So, Samanya Guna Yoga apparently would mean that there is an amalgam of all these 49 bhavas. So, you can't distinguish each one differently. Okay, as we say in Panak Rasa Nyaya, the ingredients cannot be distinguished. So, when there is a tasty sharbat or anything we are drinking or eating, we can't distinguish the different ingredients. Okay, so the amalgam should be, the mixture should be like that, no separate, any entity separately is not experienced. So no bhava separately would not be experienced. There is a kind of amalgam or mixture like this. This is one meaning. Another meaning which may be taken, another interpretation which may be taken up by the term Samanya Guna Yoga may be that they become Samanya. So they lose their particular characteristics. So they lose their particularities or their connections to a particular time and space. Okay, as they say in the process of Sadharanikaran, that Vigalita Dushyantatpadi Virvibhavaihi. So Dushyanta, the bhavas of Dushyanta would not be related to a particular time frame, a particular space, कि जो त्रेता युग में दुष्यंत हुआ था उसी के ये भाव हैं. So they become universalized. So this may be another interpretation, because otherwise Natya Shastra itself doesn't offer any other explanation. And Abhinavagupta we are not taking up so far. This passage is, otherwise we will be entangled there. So this is Samanya Guna Yoga, a kind of mixture of this gamut of 49. It happens, this is a reality in theatre, that when you see a performer, you cannot say that this is the chinta he is doing and this is, you have a kind of experience of all these things amalgamated, and they lose their particularities, they lose their specific connections, these bhavas. This also can be a possible explanation. Then this is a very famous definition of bhava, often quoted in Kavya Shastra text also. So yortho hridaya samvadi tasya bhavo rasodbhava. Here bhava is called rasodbhava, very interestingly. And the kavyartha, which makes correspondence in the heart of the connoisseur or prekshaka, which samvadate tasya hridayena, which has some hridaya samvada. So the bhava which comes out of rasa, and when it becomes hridaya samvadi, and it pervades the body as the fire pervades the dry wood. Okay, this is the simile. So the fire remains inside the dry wood, even if it is not actually burning, it is there inside, it is pervading. So it is that kind of all pervasive experience. Okay, and it makes hridaya samvada. Okay. Do you want to say anything? You can tell me. Okay. Then the question which Shastri ji had raised, it is discussed here. So he says atra ko drishtanta, what is the drishtanta, how do you illustrate it? Yadi kavyarth sanshiter vibhavanubhava vyanjite, here also the word vyanjit is used. So many times abhivyanjan, vyanjan and vyanjayanti, these terms occur. So the kavyarth sanshiter vibhavanubhava vyanjite ekonpanchashat bhavai samanya gun yogena abhinishpadyante rasaha tat katham sthayina eva bhavaha rasatvam apnuvanti. When it is samanya gun yoga, it is an amalgam where specifically we don't recognize separate bhavas and they use their particularities also. Then how do you say that these are the sthai bhavas? How do you say that these are prominent and they are the sthais? So this question has to be addressed to. So Bharat Muni explains it through an illustration. He said that it is true that there is a samanya gun yoga, there is a kind of amalgam, and the mixture is there, and the sthai bhavas are also there. In that samanya gun yoga, the 8 or 9 sthai bhavas are also there, and 33 vicharis are also there, and satvikas, 8 satvikas are also there. So when already you have said that a kind of such mixture will be there, then no separate entity, no separate recognition for any bhava would be there. Then how do you say that these are the sthai bhavas and they are prominent? So obvious reply is there that yatha samana lakshanas tulya pani padodar shariraha samanang pratyangah api purushaha kurushila vidya karma shilpa vichakshanatvad rajatvam apnuvanti. All human beings are equal. All are having 2 hands, 2 feet, 2 eyes, 2 ears. They may be equally beautiful. Okay. But some may be more skilled and some may be born in high great families. They have noble character. They are more learned. They are more skilled, more adept in various activities. They are vilakshana. They have their unique characteristics. So they become kings. So hierarchy is very much there in whole Natya Shastra. He believes in the order in that way. Some are noble persons. They belong to great families, noble families. So they become kings because of their qualities, because of their character. So and tatraiva anyasya alpa buddhayah tesham anucharaha bhavanti. Those who are less skilled, who are not so much intelligent, they become their anucharas. So in the same way this hierarchy is there. So theoretically when ultimately that process is happening, there will be samanya guna yoga. But at pragmatic level you have to say that some bhavas are prominent and sthais and some bhavas are vyavicharis. So there is a vyavaharika level to view these things. So therefore the vyavaharika example is given. This is how I understand it. So tathaiva vibhava anubhava vyavicharina sthai bhavan upashrita bhavati. In the same way vibhava anubhava and vyavichari bhavas become subsidiary to sthai bhavas. And sthai bhavas have to be given a more prominent place. Bahuvashrayatva swami bhuta sthaino bhava. Because of their bahu ashray, they correlate to many other subsidiary emotions. Okay, rati is a very pervasive emotion. Krodha is very pervasive. Chinta, glani, asuya, they may not be that pervasive. Okay, so because of their bahu ashray nature, they enshrine many other subsidiary emotions within their fold. Therefore they are Swami Bhuta, they are lords and they are sthai bhavas. Tadvad sthani purush guna bhuta anye bhavas bhavastan gunataya shrayante. Very simply, in a very simple style he is explaining. So in the same way, sthaniya purush gun bhut anya jo vibhav hain, those local persons who are serving them, the sthai bhavas, they because of their gunibhut nature, because of their being subsidiary, they will become vyabhichari bhavas or vibhavas or anubhavas, etc. स्थायी भावा रसत्वम आपनुवन्ति, स्थायी भावास बिकम rasas. Parijan bhutah vyabhicharinam bhava. Vyabhichari bhavas are like parijanas. Okay. Parijana doesn't always mean servants. The retinue accompanies. So the retinue of vyabhichari bhavas which accompanies. So all the vyabhichari bhavas may not be always there, but sthayi bhava has to be there, otherwise rasa will not be there. That is the difference. So yatha narendra bahujan parivaropi sayev naam labhate nanyah sumahan api purushah. The king is accompanied by great retinue. Bahujan parivara is there. His ministers are there, Kanchuki and Purohita and Amatya, all they are there. And they may be great persons, they may also be noble persons. Maybe in some respects they are better than the king himself. Okay. But वो सुमहान भले ही होंगे, लेकिन राजा तो राजा ही रहेगा, तो नाम तो राजा का ही होगा, इसलिए नाम तो स्थायी भाव का ही होगा कि रस उसी से है. तो रति से ही श्रृंगार होगा, क्रोध से ही रौद्र होगा, उत्साह से ही वीर रस होगा. Some acharyas have not agreed with the whole explanation and the whole system also. Bhoja says that all sthayi bhavas all vyabhichari bhavas can become sthayi bhavas. चिंता हमारी इतनी परवेसिव है, मॉडर्न थिएटर में तो हो ही जाएगा. वो सारा चिंता का ही रंगमंच है, और टेंशन है उसमें, पूरा थिएटर हम टेंशन में कर रहे हैं. और ग्रेट थिएटर हो सकता है, ऐसा कुछ नहीं. तो ठीक है, लेकिन ये एक सिस्टम है. ये चूंकि एक संस्कार का रंगमंच है, एक नोबल, इसके भीतर एक महान भाव है कह सकते हैं, एंड पुरुषार्थ का पैराडाइम है. तो इसमें तो यही मानना पड़ेगा, भले उसमें हायरार्की अगर आती है तो वो उसको मानना पड़ेगा. तो राजा का उदाहरण भी उसमें फिर स्वीकार्य होगा. अब तो ये एक एक स्थायी भाव का अभिनय ये बताते हैं. उसमें कुछ हम ले लेंगे और कुछ आज जो अपराह्न इन द आफ्टरनून सेशन मैडम आल्सो विल बी शोइंग. So Rati नाम प्रमोदात्मिका. The character of Rati is it was decided that you will be showing Rasavina and Bhavavina and Angik also. The 64 hastas, 13 shiras, 36 drashtis, many other things. Because if I name them, there is no purpose solved. I can go on doing that. I can explain the equivalents also.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so प्रमोद होता है रति में, एंड ऋतुमाल्य अनुलेपन ठीक है, वसंत ऋतु आदि होना चाहिए, माला श्रृंगार आदि होना चाहिए, अनुलेपन चंदन आदि होना चाहिए, अच्छी क्रीम लगाइए, बोरोप्लस लगाइए, ठीक इसको लगाकर चाहिए. और भरण भोजन वर भवन, अच्छा ये भी अच्छा खाना भी होना चाहिए, ठीक है, नहीं तो कोई श्रृंगार नहीं होगा. और आप अच्छा भोजन कराएंगे तो ये अच्छा चलेगा वर्कशॉप. तो करा रहे हैं वैसे. तो वर भवन अनुभवन प्रातिकूल्यादि अप्रातिकूल्यादि भी विभाव ही समुत्पद्यते. गुड हाउस इज देयर, अच्छा भवन होना चाहिए. एवरीथिंग शुड बी ब्यूटीफुल, नोबल, ग्रांट. This is what the Shangara experience and theatre would require in Bharata's system. Okay, so these are the vibhavas. Some of them are uddipanas, some of them are alambanas. Okay, mostly they are uddipanas. So here the distinction between uddipana and alamban is not explained. It is a later development that some vibhavas are uddipanas, some vibhavas are alambanas. So the cause of sthayi bhava basically a human being is alamban, and those which accompany, which enhance the experience of sthayi bhava, like vasant ritu and malya, nil and chandan and anulepan and mala and sugandh etc. They are uddipan. The uddipak होते हैं. ताम अभिनयत स्मित वदन मधुर कथन भ्रूक्षेप कटाक्षादिभिर अनुभावैः. These are the anubhavas. Smiling, smile on the face, madhur kathan, sweet words, sweet talking, as Dushyanta does in Shakuntal or Rama does in Uttaran Charitam. Iyam gehe Lakshmi Riyam Bhatavartirnayanayo. Very beautiful, Madhur Kathan. In equally beautiful Shikharni stanza. And Brookshape is there. Naika will do it. Kataksh, side glances. So all these are the Anubhavas. Haso Nam. And these are the Sthai Bhavas. So haso नाम परचेष्टानुकरण कुहक असंबद्ध प्रलाप पौरो भाग्य मोर्ख्यादिभिर विभावैहि समुत्पद्यते. Has laughter results out of paracheshtanukaran, imitation of acts of others. That would lead to hasa. Kuhak ठिठोली जिसको कहते हैं, joke or anything like that. असंबद्ध loose talking, पौरोभाग्य, activity, foolish activities, murkhata, foolishness. All these are the vibhavas, uddipanas and alambanas. Tam apinayet purvoktair hasitadivir anubhavai. Laughing, etc. These are the anubhavas. That passage perhaps would come, I don't know where I have put it. That there is a detailed treatment of hasya rasa, that has gone in the 6th chapter. That I should have taken up. So there is a very important philosophy of hasya rasa also there in the 6th chapter. And 8 types of hasyas, Ismita, Hasita, Ati Hasita, At Hasita, etc. and how they are to be performed, that is there. And Atmastha and Parastha Hasya, that has gone there in the 6th chapter. I'm sorry, because I finished it abruptly.
We can go back.
So 2 types of Hasya rasas are there, Atmastha and Parastha. Okay. So when one laughs at himself, Atmastha Hasya would be there. When one laughs at others, then Parastha Hasya would be there. This is how I understand. There are other interpretations, I know. But Abhinav Gupta builds up a philosophy of Hasya Rasa, and then he says that Hasya Rasa would also lead to emancipation and final release and to moksha. Okay, I believe in this philosophy very much, because Hasya Rasa is that way very significant. When you do a theatre of Hasya properly, you will have that kind of experience, because the person who laughs at himself, ultimately he would be a Paramhansa. So all great Vidushakas in Kalidasa's play, Mrachikatika, they are like Paramhansas. अघोरी साधु की तरह है, वो अपने आप पर हंसता है. इतने पिक्वेंट सटल डायलॉग्स हैं कई जगह विदूषक के कि आप दहल जाते हैं कि क्या कह दिया है इसने. सूना परिसर इव ग्रत्थः आमिषलोलुपो भीरुश्च. मल्लिकाग्निमित्रम में विदूषक राजा से कहता है कि तुम उस गीत की तरह से हो जो कसाई वाड़े पर बूचरी जो है उस पर मंडरा रहा है, कच्चे मांस को झपटने के लिए ललचा भी रहा है और डर भी रानी से डर भी रहा है. और कोई नहीं कह सकता था, विदूषक राजा कुछ नहीं कर सकता. वो कह देता है पिंडी खरजूर उद्वेजितस्य यथा तिंड्याम अभिलाष. खूब पिंड खजूर खा करके जैसे इमली की इच्छा होती है, ऐसी तुम्हारी उस लड़की शकुंतला पर यही था ही, ये तो हकीकत ही है. विदूषक ही कह सकता था. और कई जगह तो अपनी जैसे वो कहता है, वो उसका वो जो हालांकि मरने का अभिनय करता है, वो मालिका से मिलाने के लिए उस मालिका के मित्र में विदूषक क्या करता है कि वो सांप ने डस लिया, ऐसा उंगली बताता हुआ आता है कि मुझे सांप ने काट लिया, मैं मरने जा रहा हूँ. और वो प्रतिहारी जो दौड़ करके रानी की वो जो नागदंत मुद्रा वाली अंगूठी है वो लेने जाती है. वो अंगूठी लेके पहुंच जाती है तो मालिका जो कैद खाने में बंद है उसको अंगूठी दिखा करके वो छुड़ा लाते हैं. लेकिन जो संवाद विदूषक बोलता है उसमें कुछ ऐसा कहता है कि मैंने पेट की खातिर यह सब कहा सुनी थी है आपसे. अगर मैंने कुछ इधर उधर कुछ कह दिया हो तो मैं इस उधर वृत्ति के लिए मैं सब करता था, वो कहता था. मैं मरने जा रहा हूँ तो मुझे माफ़ कर दीजिएगा. वो जैसा संवाद है जैसे मैं अपने ऊपर भी हंसता है वो कि मैं ये सब कर रहा हूँ, विदूषक का पाठ जो कर रहा हूँ ये सब खिलवाड़ मेरे लिए है और ये मेरी वृत्ति भी थी. वो अपने ऊपर भी हंसता है, रानी के ऊपर भी हंसता है कि मैं तुझे मूर्ख भी बना. बहुत डुएल, उसमें इतने सारे अर्थ हैं. सो व्हाट आई फाइंड ए वेरी वेरी डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ presentation of Malikagnimitraम done by B.V. कारंत। उन्होंने बुंदेली में अनुवाद मालिकाग्निमित्रम का किया, बहुत अच्छा, बहुत बढ़िया किया। कारंत वाज ए गुड थिएटर डायरेक्टर। सो उसमें उन्होंने 2 विदूषक कर दिए। जो विदूषक है वो एक नहीं होता, वहाँ पूरे परफॉर्मेंस में 2 विदूषक चलते हैं। तो जो दूसरा विदूषक है वो पहले विदूषक की नकल करता है साइलेंटली, वो लगातार करते चला। वो विदूषक संवाद बोल रहा है, वो होठ हिलाते हुए, हाथ करते हुए, सिर हिलाते हुए उसकी नकल लगातार कर रहा है, तो उस विदूषक का प्रतिरूप वो हो जाता है। तो उस विदूषक पर हंसी उड़ाने वाला एक विदूषक जो उसके भीतर है, वो वहाँ वो प्रोजेक्ट किया गया वहाँ। वो हम थ्रू आउट जब उसको देखते हैं तो ऐसे ही लगता है कि ये एक विदूषक के भीतर जो विदूषक था वो बाहर थिएटर में दिखा करके वो उसको इमिटेट करता है। ये कालिदास खुद ये दिखाना चाह रहे हैं वहाँ, क्योंकि जो संवाद विदूषक के हैं वो, तो जो फिलॉसफी ऑफ हास्य रस की उसको अभिनवगुप्त समझते हैं। और वो जिस तरह से उन्होंने एक्सप्लेन किया है आत्मस्थ और परस्थ हास्य को, तो उसमें वो दर्शन है। वो असल में यहाँ स्थायी भाव बता रहे हैं तो यहाँ नहीं आ पाया, वो रस जब बता रहे हैं वहाँ है। तो जो 8 types of हास्य रसास एंड दिस आत्मस्थ एंड परस्थ है। So how that will be delineated and how that would create a philosophy of Hasya Rasa and a theater of Hasya Rasa. That is there. Okay. So there is one Sundar Visuvalingam. Okay, you might be knowing. He lives based in USA. सुंदर, अब he writes SUNTHER।
दक्षिण के लोग,
हाँ ठीक है, सुंदर होगा। हमें प्रोनाउंसिएशन थोड़ी हमने कभी उनके मुंह से उनका नाम सुना ही नहीं, तो खूब मिलता रहा हूँ उनसे। सुंदर विश्वलिंगम होगा या विशुवलिंगम होगा। He is basically from Malaysia, settled in USA. So he is a staunch follower of, admirer of Abhinav Gupta. Those who are interested in Abhinav Gupta may visit his website. If you type Abhinav Gupta, many websites would appear, and Sundar Visuwalingam's website is also. He has put many articles and material on Abhinav Gupta. So his thesis was on philosophy of laughter in Abhinav Gupta. Abhinav Gupta's philosophy of Hasya Rasa. That was his thesis in BHU. He sent a copy to me. We used to meet at BHU. So I read that philosophy. I admire the way he has explained Abhinav Gupta. There is no time to discuss that in detail. So it just occurred to me that I have left that important part because we had to finish the 6th chapter in the last session. So that Hasya Rasa and the delineation of Hasya Rasa. That way Abhinav Gupta was ultimately say that each rasa would culminate into Shanta and ultimately into Moksha. This is the rasa system ultimately. So Hasya Rasa eventually would very easily make a release from bonds also. आप सारे बंधन तोड़ देते हैं तभी आप हंस सकते हैं। तो ये हम सब लोगों के लिए बहुत रिलेवेंट है, इसलिए क्योंकि श्रृंगार में तो फंस जाते हैं आप, आपकी बहुत शक्ति उसमें व्यर्थ जाएगी। और श्रृंगार में बिकम वेरी सबलाइम, may lead to the experience of sublime, but there are dangers in Shringara. Hasya can easily be worked out to reach a kind of release and emancipation. So that was what Abhinav Gupta does there. So that Sundar Vishwalingam has worked on it, and a part of his thesis is also available on that website. Okay. So now the Abhinaya of all other bhavas is described. Shoko naam ishtajan viyoga vibhav nasha vad bandh dukh anubhavan adivir vibhavehi samutpadyate. These are the vibhavas for shoka, ishtajan viyoga. Some near and dear one has departed, either he is dead or has gone forever. And vibhav nash, आपकी प्रॉपर्टी लॉस हो गया है, बाढ़ में सब घर बह गया, तो वहाँ शोक, इसको जब थिएटर में दिखाएंगे तो करुणरस हो जाएगा, शोक होगा। और वध, ठीक है, किसी का प्रियजन की मृत्यु हो गई है, वध हो गया है, उसमें शोक होगा ही, उससे उस शोक से करुणरस होगा। So and how these rasas get mixed up, that is also there in the example from Mahabharata which Mammata gives. Ayam sarashnotkarshi pinastana vimardana bahuru jagnasparshi nabhyuru jagnasparshi nivi viswamsanakara. So Shringara rasa is there. very strong suggestion of Shangara is there. But since she is weeping and seeing that cut out arms, a kind of vibhasa is also there. It is Yuddha Bhumi, and the left outs of the parts of dead corpse, they are lying there. And the wife of Bhurishrava sees the arm that was cut out from the body, Satyaki, by his Asi, cut it. So that arm is lying. So a very strong undercurrent of Shangara, but ultimately it is very, very touching experience of Karun Rasa. So how these various emotions and even Sthai Bhavas, one Sthai Bhava would become subsidiary to another Sthai Bhava. So all these Sthai Bhavas can become Vyabhichari Bhavas in this system, but none of the Vyabhichari Bhavas except Nirveda would become Sthai Bhava. This is the system here, which Bhoja and others may not follow, may not agree with. So this Shoka results out of this Ishtajan Viyog, Vibhavanash, Vadbandh, Dukkhanubhav, etc. And Tasya Asrapat, Asra is tears, Paridevit, lamentation. Paridevit is lament, is weeping with complaints perhaps, and Vilapit, Vilap karna, lamenting. Vevarnya, the face becoming colorless, Swarveda. These are Satvik Abhinayas. And Sastagatrata, you loosen all the limbs of your body, Bhumi Patan, तड़पते हुए जमीन पर लौटना. ओके, सस्वन रुदित, आवाज के साथ चिल्लाते हुए रो पड़ना, आक्रंदित चीखना, दीर्घ लंबी सांस छोड़ना, जड़ता, उन्माद, मोह, मरण. All these are the anubhavas. So many times some of the nomenclatures which are included as Vyabhichari Bhavas, they are taken up as Anubhavas here. Because Moh and Marana, they are mentioned as Vyabhichari Bhavas here. But here, since bodily they are being delineated, so they will be treated like Anubhavas here. And Ruditam Atra Trividham, Anandajam, Artijam, Irsha, Samudbhavam, Cheti. There are three types of weepings for various Sthai Bhavas, may be coming out of Ananda, from out of Arti, and out of Irsha or envy. Then these are the summing up karikas, and how the Abhinaya would be done of Anandaja, Ashrupata and Artijanupata and Shokajarudan. This is also explained. So Anandepi Artikatam Trividham Ruditam Sada Budhairgayam Tasya Tvabhina Yogat Vibhavagatita Pravakshami. In Ananda also you can have an experience of Arti, okay, of Dukkha. So this is also I wanted to say, when you raise the question that how will we relish Vibhatsa Rasa. So when we say that we are experiencing rasa, it is not happiness or joy as such. It may be ananda. And ananda, as I understand, it is not joyful always. Ananda is the ultimate. Ultimate has everything in its fold. If Param Satta has Ananda Swarupa, it doesn't mean that it is joy and happiness alone. It creates everything, so everything is there. So the experience of Jugupsa is also within the fold of Ananda, as I understand the Rasa experience. So we want to reach that Ananda, which is not simply happiness or joy. So that will not be Natyashastra theatre if we simply have joy or Ananda. You may, because there is no term equivalent to Ananda in English again. Bliss also may fall short of it. Okay. So when they say Anando Brahmeti Vyajanat, Anandadhyo Khalimani Bhutani Jayanti Anandam Prayanti Abhisamvishanti Cheti, that Ananda, and that Ananda is equated to Rasa here, that is not simply joy or happiness. So how comes it that you will remove the Jugup, if the world has Jugupsa and disgust and aversion, and if everything comes out of that Ananda and everything merges in that Ananda, how comes it that jugupsa and aversion will not be there within the fold of that Ananda? So that Ananda itself is an amalgam of all these elements, and we want to reach that Ananda because we want to have the experience of complete life, complete human life. We want to realize that human life. Therefore, we want to have rasa experience. So रसा एक्सपीरियंस, मैं तो कभी ये स्वीकार नहीं करता कि आप खुशी होंगे रसा एक्सपीरियंस में। मेरे लिए तो बहुत सारी अच्छी कविताएं वो हैं जो दुख देती हैं। मैं तो खुद अपनी बहुत दुखदायी कविताएं पोस्ट करता हूँ कि लोग दुखी हों और नाराज हों, नाराज करने वाली क्योंकि ये काम हमारा नहीं है सर्जक का काम कि वो खुशी करता रहेगा और आपको कटाक्ष भुजाक्षेप आदि का सुंदर सुंदर वर्णन करके रिझाने मनाने का ही काम करता रहेगा। उसका काम दुखी करना भी है, क्योंकि उस आनंद के फोल्ड में वो सारा दुख भी, तो वो परम सत्ता जो है वो सबका दुख भी तो अपने में समेटना चाहती है। कृष्ण अगर परम सत्ता के प्रतीक हैं तो वो सारे संसार का दुख भी तो वो रियलाइज करते हैं, करना चाहते हैं। So that perhaps is the idea, the way I understand. Many people do not agree, and even Dashrupakara, he would explain the experience of Vibhasa in a different way, कि ये सब भी उसमें रस में आकर के सुख स्वरूप ही हो जाते हैं। There are other authors who say that rasa itself is sukh dukh swarupa. The whole Jaina tradition would say that it is, and Abhinav Gupta takes those theories also. So rasa is a very complex emotion, so you can't explain it in a simplified way through oversimplification that we should enjoy rasa. We should even when you say relish, so that relish word in English word, when aswadayanti, when you say you translated relish, there may be some misunderstanding. So the aswada of Ananda, that aswada would involve the aswada of the whole sorrow of the world also. Otherwise rasa would not be there. If human life has all the vedana and all the pathos and the all karuna rasa is also, and vibhasa is also there, so that relish, the taste of it should the aswada of it should involve all these things also, and we want to undergo through it. मैं तो चाहता हूँ कि आप मुझे वो दुख का अनुभव कराइए, नहीं तो मुझे रस नहीं उसके बिना होगा। दशरथ उसमें प्रतिमा नाटक में दशरथ विलाप कर रहे हैं, सूर्य गतो रामः सूर्यम दिवसैव लक्ष्मणोऽनुगतः सूर्य दिवसावसाने छायेव न दृश्यते सीता। क्या अभिनय उस पर होगा, आप देखिए। सूर्य की तरह राम चले गए, सूर्य के पीछे पीछे जैसे दिन चला जाता है लक्ष्मण भी चला गया। सूर्य और दिन के जाने के साथ जैसे छाया भी खत्म हो चली जाती है, वैसे सीता भी चली गई और वो हाथ पैर पटकते हुआ अनुभव विभाव आदि के साथ में दशरथ अभिनय करता है दशरथ का पात्र और मरता है। तो आप ये कैसे कह सकते हैं कि मैं एंजॉय कर रहा हूँ? आप तो उसके दुख में दुखी होकर के रोएंगे ही और आप बार बार उस दुख से गुजरना ही चाहेंगे। मैं तो चाहूँगा कि कोई भी जो है वो हेरा फेरी या गोलमाल फिल्म की जगह अगर वो नाटक हो रहा है तो मैं उसको देखने चला जाऊंगा जिसमें दशरथ का वो अभिनय कोई अच्छा कर रहा होगा। उसमें मुझे खूब हंसी भी आएगी और अच्छा आनंद होगा, लेकिन फिर सुख होगा, लेकिन फिर भी मैं उसको हो सकता है देखने ना जाऊँ। अगर दोनों हो रहे हैं तो मैं उसको देखने चला जाऊँगा, बावजूद इसके कि मुझे बहुत दुख होगा उसमें वहाँ जा करके। तो मैं तो रस को यही मानता हूँ और मैं कन्विंस नहीं, आई एम अनेबल टू कन्विंस मैनी, क्योंकि हमारे मन में एक ये इमेज रस की बना दी गई है जो ट्रांसलेशंस के थ्रू है कि वो हमेशा उसमें एक हम इंटरटेन्ड हो गए और सुख हमको हो गया और आनंद और एंजॉय हमने किया। और शायद तो वो इस तरह का कॉम्प्लेक्स होल है कि और हम एज ए ह्यूमन बीइंग वी वांट टू अंडरगो थ्रू all that vedana और पीड़ा आदि अनुभव of it because the world has that।
तो देवदास को 100 बार देखे, हर बार रोते ही बाहर आए हैं, कभी सुख का अनुभव नहीं है, फिर भी देखते हैं, आनंद है।
तो वो आनंद, जैसे ही आप आनंद कहते हैं तो जो उसका कनोटेशन आज हम समझते हैं उसमें उसकी व्याप्ति चली जाती है। ओके, दैट अर्थांतर उसमें हो जाता है। इसलिए हम फिर ये सवाल करने लगते हैं फिर विभत्स से आनंद कैसे होगा। तो जैसे देवदास को देखने से आनंद हो रहा है, बावजूद इसके कि आप दुखी हो रहे हैं, वैसे ही विभत्स को देख करके भी आनंद होना चाहिए। इसलिए अगर वो स्वाम्प फिर से दिखाया जा रहा है कहीं पर कि उस पूरी गंदगी में वो हीरो चल के जा रहा है, जो कि बहुत विभत्स रूप में उसमें दिखाया गया, वो डार्क करते हुए उसमें सारे इफेक्ट्स थे, तो हो सकता है कि मैं उसको देखना पसंद करूँ बजाय इसके कि कोई हल्का फुल्का कोई थिएटर हो रहा है। इसलिए विभत्स का अनुभव जो है हमारे लिए ग्राह्य होगा जब प्रस्तुत किया जाएगा, क्योंकि हम उससे उबरना चाहते हैं, इसलिए हम उसको देखना चाहते हैं कि इसको एक बार समझ लिया जाए कि कैसे, इसलिए वो शांत रस की तरफ मोटिवेट करेगा। तो हम यहाँ समाप्त करते हैं, यदि और कुछ कहना होगा, क्योंकि ये सब अभिनय का भाग है और इसमें नोमेनक्लेचर्स ज़्यादा हैं। और
your last point, sometimes we should translate Ananda as catharsis or equanimity, not really like what
sometimes maybe, but then catharsis has its own relevance. It is purgation. The process is purgation. So mere purgation is not there in Rasanubhuti. So the process of purgation may also be there. Okay.
Yeah.
But catharsis may be a part of it. So far as I understand, I have not gone into the details of it. Many have made comparative studies of Bharata and Aristotle. This is a thesis by a very good scholar who was English professor, Maheshwari ji, and many others have done like that. But it doesn't capture the whole idea of rasa as such. So far as I could understand.
That's what they realized when they came to the discussion of Shanta. That if Shanta could not be accepted just by the other rasa,
Okay.
Shanta was on different pedestal.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Deshpande wants to thank you for giving her a different point of view. That was one. There's one Mrs. Padmini also linked with us through webinar, and she wants to know the difference between rasotpatti and rasa nishpatti.
According to Natya Shastra, there will be no difference. When the interpretations come, there will be difference. So the word nishpatti is generally used for all. उत्पत्ति पक्ष, अभिव्यक्ति पक्ष, and भावकत्व, भोजकत्व पक्ष, अनुमिति पक्ष, and all other also the Jaina interpretation based on the interpretation based on Sankhya, they all say that it is nishpatti. But whether nishpatti is anumiti or utpatti or abhivyakti, etc., this is the question. So it's being a complex process, as we have discussed. The whole rasa process is very complex, and it involves the whole gamut of various contradictory emotions also. So nishpatti is the general term, and sometimes utpatti, the word utpatti is also used by Bharat Muni because it is produced. So he would say utpatti also. But when Lolata proposes utpatti vada, then it is an interpretation which relates to the emotions which would directly, the vibhavas etc. would directly produce, and it will happen on a kind of theatre. Okay. So so far as Natya Shastra goes, there is no difference. So far as the later theoreticians go, utpatti comes in the context of Lolata's interpretation. That was only I can say.
Thank you, sir. Any questions?
From Utpatti it gets completed.
Yes.
So maybe Utpatti, it comes into existence and its completion becomes Nishpatti because everything together is what.
Nishpat, yeah, you are right that way.
So the completion of Utpatti is just emerging like an Ankura. Then through the Vyabhichari Bhava.
There also, in Lolata's interpretation also, Utpatti is the first state.
Culmination would be Nishpatti.
विभावे रत्यादिको भाव जनितः अनुभवे प्रतीति योग्यः कृतः विचारी भावेश्च पुष्टिं नीतः. These three steps in Lolata are described. So Utpatti is just the first step. You are right. So this can be added. Yes.
Yes.
Sir?
Utpatti.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah, I have a question regarding a situation where Vibhava is not actually a person. For example, when we are showing a natural calamity or a storm or earthquake, which is creating that bhaya rasa, but there is no person present as vibhava. So should we call it alamban or uddipan when the situation itself is creating the rasa?
Bharata uses the word vibhava for that, and he doesn't use the terms alamban and uddipan.
Oh.
Everything is vibhava. So that calamity, maybe it's an earthquake or this flood, so that becomes a vibhava, direct cause of the experience of catastrophe and karun rasa and shoka. So that will be vibhava,
So
without
these-
using these distinctions of alamban and uddipan,
So they got
which are
added
later.
Okay.
They are later developments.
Okay. Thank you.
Then, by extension, is a picture or a work of art meant to be a vibhava?
Yes. A picture or a work of art may be a vibhava in poetry, in drama, and in any theatre representation. And this has happened in various episodes in dramatic pieces. Dushyanta paints the picture of Shakuntala. Okay. And a very beautiful painting he makes. Dushyanta is an artist also, the hero of Kalidasa's play. So he creates a painting. Shakuntala being chased by a bee. Bhramarbadha nirupanasya drashyam chitre Dushyantena ankitam. Okay. So, and that painting is before him. And then Dushyanta is remembering Shakuntala. Okay. So that painting made by himself, later on when he sees that painting, it becomes a vibhava for him. Because all sorts of recollections come to him, and the whole feeling of guilt, and then his lamentation and virahanubhuti, his experience of separation from his beloved, they follow. So there that painting, that piece of art becomes a vibhava. Just as in our life also, if a person loves somebody and he is separated from her or him, and he is seeing her picture, he is remembering him or her, so he is having an emotional experience. So that way, in art, in poetry, drama and theatrical representation also, any piece of art, maybe plastic art, a piece of
Sculpture.
painting could become a vibhava. And there are many episodes in Sanskrit plays. Vasav Datta's painting in Swapna Vasav Dattam, that results in a sequence of many incidents, emotional experiences. So you are right that way.
In that case, that picture, will it be alambana vibhava or uddipana vibhava?
No, Dr. Deshpande, she just,
Yeah.
can I? Sorry.
Yeah, please.
I will come to that.
Dr.
It is
Deshpande,
vibhava in Bharata's terminology. Yeah.
actually she had just posted saying that a picture would be an Uddipana Vibhava. Alambana Vibhava is an iconic symbol. Murti Pratika.
It would be Uddipan Vibhava. The painting would be Uddipan Vibhava.
And Murti.
And Murti, because it is, yeah, it is a sculpture, so it will be Alamban Vibhava. But I do not find, does she find the terms Alamban and Uddipan used in Natya Shastra?
I am also asking about the later development. You said that alambana and uddipana, this categorization, this division is a later thing, development.
Yeah.
So in that case,
There,
it depends upon the
so
situation.
far as I understand, I won't put it the way Madam Deshpande has put it. A picture or a murti may become an alamban and uddipan both, depending upon the
situation,
the way the character is taking it. If it incites an emotion within him, the emotion which is already generated, and if it enhances, then it is uddipana. And if it generates that emotion, then it is alambana.
Yeah.
The technical difference between alamban and uddipan is that alamban is the generator, and the Uddipan works as a catalyst or enhances it.
Enhances.
So the painting or any sculpture can do both,
Yeah.
depending upon the prasanga. So you are happy, somehow you have forgotten your beloved, suddenly you see a painting and suddenly you are aroused and suddenly you remember and you all of a sudden the emotion is generated, then that painting would become alambana. And you are already having the feeling of separation, and then you say that bring that painting, I will again see that painting, again remember my beloved whom I am already remembering. So then it becomes an uddipan.
She says by murti I mean character, not sculpture.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, yeah.
There
Actually, sir, what I feel is both Murti and Chitra is only Uddipana. It's not Alambana. Alambana is again Shakuntala. Alambana Vibhava is always Shakuntala. Picture is only Uddipana.
Okay.
This should be, I feel like that. A person through the picture.
Yeah.
Maybe that is.
Technically
That's
in
how
the
I
later theory, this is, you are right. Technically in the later theory, because Natya Shastra doesn't make any distinction like this. So I have not taken that up. And that way, Madam Deshpande is right. You are right also. Technically you are right.
This particular example of Dushyanta painting Shakuntala would be because he remembers. So she is the original. So she is the Alambana.
Yes.
Yeah.
In this discussion, I think we have to clearly distinguish at each stage an ordinary man's experience of a painting of a beloved or something, or any kind of reminding device. The character's experience of such a scene in ordinary life in literature, and the spectator's experience of a character being shown.
Yeah.
That is, when we see Dushyanta lamenting over a picture, we have essentially compassion in our mind. And that compassion is the feeder of the rest of the experience. So everywhere, I think, if we mix up all these three different situations, we are not really doing justice to Bharata.
Sir, in this context, I would like to say it re-establishes his Shringara. So again, this Thai would be Shringara. That here, for your point, I think it re-establishes his Shringara because it is his love that is making him helpless now that he has lost her. So I think Shringara again becomes this Thai Bhava here, just as we do the Ashtanayikas. When she is in Viraha, she is suffering because all the Ashtanayikas are Shringara Nayika. So Shringara becomes a Thai in that case, and I think Dushyanta's situation with that portrait would still establish Shringara. We take pity on him, at that moment it would be that becomes, the Karuna becomes a Vyabhichari Bhava which establishes, oh God, why is he suffering like this? Because his love is so strong.
But the main thing is, actual human experience is not rasa.
So,
Is literary experience.
yeah, I understand what you're saying, and I think in this context we are talking only about the Natya Rasa. Because human experience is what gives rise to all those feelings that can be portrayed through Drishya or Shravya Kavya. And in the beginning, he says, for whom is this? It is for Kavi Nata Shikshartham. So if the Kavi imagines all this, then only the Nata will be able to portray it. And the Nata and the Kavi have to experience this, not personally. They live through certain characters, and that is why we are able to enjoy it, sir.
Yes.
That is why any emotion, any rasa I feel, even if you are going through, you said about your poems, they are so poignant, so moving, but it leaves you with a kind of enjoyment.
Yeah.
Because you enjoyed that, you did not go through the swamp. You said that swamp was so repulsive. If I had to go through the swamp, I would never love it, because that is, it becomes part of my life. So that is why I think we should never forget when Bharata is talking about the Bhava Rasa theory, it is absolutely meant for Natya Rasa. That is, you are all the time experiencing what that person would have because you're only
Right.
imitating and trying to reach it out to the people.
You are right.
Sir, with regard to Jugupsa, I am perfectly aware of the fact that it is Alaukika, it is only Ananda Swarupa. Rasa cannot be otherwise, in any other form than of the Ananda form. Well aware of that. It's only, I have got some problem with it. It's not the platform now for discuss it. Exclusively for Bivatsa. Sometimes we will discuss it mutually. Today, textual problem is why Bharata has classified Anandaja Rudita, Arti Rujita, Rudita he classified into three out of Ananda, out of Arti, and Ananda, Arti, and the third one is there. Irsya. Now, what is the contextual? See, he is describing the Karuna Rasa. In Karuna Rasa, how come this division is relevant seen from the contextual point of view of the text?
So far as I could
This is my
understand,
problem and understand. Sir also has developed the same.
Because Anandaja.
Anandaja Ashu is raised.
Yeah, how can it be Karuna then?
Karuna. You see, he is describing the Karuna Rasa. Anandaja Rudita is acceptable, Arti Rudita is acceptable, Irsya Rudita is acceptable.
Yeah.
But how come they are relevant in this context? I am unable to correlate the text.
so far as I could understand, the context is changed. Okay.
Oh.
So because he is mentioning Rudita in Karuna, so then he tries to say that Rudita is in Karuna, all right, but Rudita may be in Ananda also, in other rasas also, maybe in Adbhuta rasa also. So there is switches over to, there is this kind of digression, so far as I could understand.
Yeah.
So the Anandas and Artis, they will be differently delineated. If they are in Karuna, the delineation would be in a different way. If they are in Vipralambha Shangara, the delineation would be different, and in Adbhuta and Bhayanaka and Vibhasa, they will be in a different way. So to add to that the Rudita can be of many kinds, and in Karun Rasa it would be of a different kind. In Ananda, in Vipralambha Shangara, it will be of a different kind. He does it there.
So Prasaktanu Prasakta.
Prasaktanu Prasaktya. That is it. Just 1 minute I would take. So otherwise this will be omitted. This is a very important discussion at the end of 7th chapter. So I have omitted many details how each of the 33 Sanchari, Vivichari Bhavas and all the Sthai Bhavas will be performed, and how. And what you said, that Anubhavas are not specifically mentioned, but here for Avinaya Parta, what are the Anubhavas for this Sthai? And for this Vivichari, it is specifically mentioned that Rudita, Ashu, perspiration, Swed, etc. So this demarcation or specification you can make when you are discussing Abhinaya of each and every Sanchari Bhavas. For a general Ras Nishpatti, you may not separately mention. So they will be mentioned. So there they are mentioned. But at the end of this chapter, he says, Naiyek rasjam kavyam kinchit asti prayogata. When the performance is there, no kavya, no dramatic piece should be of one rasa, coming out of one rasa. So you cannot create a good drama or kavya out of one single rasa. Shringar rasa may be dominantly there, but the other rasas have to accompany. And in the same way, you cannot create theatre or drama out of one single Vivichari Bhava or Sthai Bhava. So all these things, they come jointly together. They come in groups there. So Bhava Vapi, Rasa Vapi, Pravritti, Vritti Rehova. So Bhavas, Rasas, Pravrittis and Vrittis, they do not come singularly. So they should be accompanied with the other members of their group. So Bharati Vritti alone would not be there. Shringar Rasa alone would not be there, one Sthai Bhava alone would not be there. So they invariably are accompanied with other members of their group. So Nai Ek Rasjam Kavyam Naik Bhavaik Vrittikam. No Kavya is Ek Rasaja and no Kavya is Ek Bhavaja. And it doesn't result out of one rasa, one bhava and one vritti, then this is a very good term. I like it. So vimarde rag mayati prayuktam is prayatnata. When there is vimarda, a type crushing of different bhavas and rasas, so they are maybe trying to overpower each other. So such type of oozing out of different bhavas and rasas, इस तरह का विमर्द जहाँ हो जाता है, ये श्रृंगार रस का भी एक इमेजरी है. In love making, when there is vimarda, there is more raga. Okay. Priyank pali vimard radya Kalidasasya. This is na Kalidasad aparasya vani. So there was a very good Pandit. He was like my guru, Pandit Bachulal Avasthi. He had written a very good long essay explaining this stanza in very Shastrik Sanskrit. Wonderful essay he wrote. How Vimarda would produce raga and what that poet means by Vimarda. So that Vimarda happens in Kalidasa's poetry. That this oozing out of different bhavas and this clash. So then Shankuka, he was a great acharya that way. So he uses the term samplava. Pratibhati na sandeho na tattvam naiva viparyaya धीरयम अयमेवास्ति नायमित्येव चेत्यपि विरुद्ध बुद्धि संभेदाद अविवेचित संप्लवः. These contradictory emotions clash with each other, and there is such an amalgamation that this samplavatmakta, the different currents are making a great sea of emotions. So there Bharatamuni perhaps is trying to find out that complex whole which we create, the great theatre or great piece of drama would create, and these different contradictory emotions would be clashing with each other, and then they would be creating a grand experience of this whole complexity of life. So this Vimarda would produce raga. So for rasa experience, the word raga is used by Bharat Muni, elsewhere also. So this is a significant term. You can call it raga, but you cannot call it simply harsha or prasannata or joy or happiness, anything. So it is ananda and it is raga also. You have a kind of liking for it. You may like to undergo through it. So that kind of vimarda is created. That kind of clashing of emotions is created. Then Bharat Muni he is not satisfied with the imagery of vimarda only. So he is different. He uses a different kind of metaphor. Then he says that just as you create a kind of rangoli by flowers, so use different flowers to create a complex structure there. So nana bhavarth sampanna sthai sattva vicharina pushpavakirina kartavya kavyeshu hi rasa buddha. These sthai bhavas, satvika bhavas, enjoined accompanied with different bhavas, they should be arranged in a poetic piece or in a kavya like flowers being arranged in a structure created by flowers. So different flowers are scattered in a structure. In that way they are arranged together. Evam rasasya bhavasya vyavastha natake smrita. In this way rasas and bhavas, if they are arranged in a natak, ya evam etan janati sa gacche siddhi uttamam. A person who understands this complex structure, either you understand it through vimarda metaphor, or you understand it through the metaphor of pushpavakirna structure, the arrangement of flowers in a structure like alpana or rangoli, etc. So an actor who understands this complex structure would attain the siddhi. Siddhi is a technical term which will be taken up, it is the seventh element in the Natya Sangraha of 11 elements. So it will be taken up in the 27th chapter. So I think these are the last line, they are very significant. If there is any other question, you can.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Hello?
it's okay that in a drama there would be a number of rasas, but in a particular kavya, in particular poem, there can be only one rasa. Isn't it like, take it for example, Shanta Vilasa or Karuna Lahari or some other kavyas, where the whole poem is devoted to only one rasa. So how can it be then kavya according to the definition of Bharata?
To an extent you are right. There may be poems where the singularities of rasa or bhava are there, but they may not be great poems, you see. When I read great poets, I always feel that single rasa and bhava is not there. Even in one stanza, for example, Amaruka, we can take his stanzas.
Yeah.
So there is Vipulam Shangara, but the other rasas and emotions are always there. So that way, Anand Vardhana says that Amrukasya kave hai shloka prabandhayamana
Ekashloka prabandha shatayate.
Shatayate prabandhavana prabandhayamana prasiddha eva. So why does it say that? Because each shloka of Amruka becomes a Mahavakya like thing, and it involves a gamut of complex emotions, and the rasas are suggested. Other rasas are also suggested. So in great poetry, whether it is Muktaka or a drama or a Khandakavya or Mahakavya, single rasa would not come. Apparently we may think that only Karun rasa is here, but the suggestion of other rasas would be there either, or in a subsidiary way they may be accompanying. They may not be felt apparently, but the suggestion would be there. This is what I believe.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we can take examples and discuss, and to an extent, what you say may be true. But then to me, it will not make great poetry.
Yeah, great poetry can be a voluminous poetry and also a single verse.
Voluminous poetry is not great poetry.
I mean, I'm
all Mahakavyas are not.
I'm pointing to Mahakavyas. Yeah. Because Mahakavyas, in by definition, there are Shrungara, Veera, Karuna, etc. At least three rasas.
But all Mahakavyas do not make great poetry that way. You may write 100 sargas.
Yeah.
But a single stanza can have that structure. And Mahakavya also can have that structure.
No, comment to.
Okay.
To respond to Professor Bahulkarji, what I feel is there, if I distinctly remember well, there is a Rasabhinaya and Bhavabhinaya. There are two categorizations in Natya Shastra, and at least in Dasarupaka, I think.
In Dasarupaka it is there.
Yeah, it is there. So some poems of such nature may come under Bhava Abhinaya only. They are only at the level of Bhava. They don't culminate into Rasa as such. Because there is a very paribhashika, it is a technical, it is not just Bhava Abhinaya, just Rasa Abhinaya. You see, before it is the completion is expected to be in Rasa Abhinaya, and a kind of incomplete poem is termed to be as Bhava Abhinaya according to Alankara tradition. So I think that way we can understand that. Elaborating only a particular Bhava to an extent. Such modern poems are, for example, Eliot's what you call Ode on this burial ground and all that. So such poems and some Bhava Abhinayas can also be, I think somewhere I have seen this term. We can understand that way, I believe. If I am
it is
right.
in Dashrupaka, it is a later
theoretical
framework.
But all Kavita need not go to that rasa culmination. Somewhere, some poems can stop in between also. A provision is made in Kavya Alankara.
I stick to this line. Nahi ek rasajam kavyam kinchit asti prayogata. In Natya Prayoga, no kavya out of a single rasa is possible. It will not be theatre, or it will not be a kavya in performance if there is only one rasa. So one rasa is to be accompanied with other rasas. In the same way, bhavas and everything else.
Yeah, I think Shadrasas are waiting for us. So let's break. There was somebody who is waiting for a long time to ask a question and she just couldn't get a chance. So I suggest, since we have decided that we will assemble 15 minutes early today, let us start with her question. And Dr. Deshpande also wanted to ask something. So maybe those two things we will take in immediately after the lunch and proceed. Is that okay, sir?
At 2:45.
2:45. 1:45, sir.
1:40. Yes.
Okay. Thank you all.
Whatever suits you. That's possible because in a short time how much can be done. And I also cannot do justice to the text because I have to leave many things.
Our luck that we have such stalwarts sitting here and we get to listen to all of them together.
It is a good opportunity for us.
That is why I left some
Padmaji was very happy yesterday, last night I spoke to her and she said he's a Chinese scholar, please give my regards. She has December 1st
I will be a little bit late for lunch.
Okay.
Just have them set aside some food.
She said she will be sending. Why she is still not written to you is because the Sangeet Nayak Academy has to finally send her an official letter. They have agreed on those days and all that. First day it's going to be in Bharata Elementary, that is her foundation, Bharata Elementary Foundation, created near Mahabalipuram. The first proceedings will be there. Thereafter in collection. So she has said, please tell him now so that he'll keep himself busy. I've already put him because
Dates are not decided.
Dates are decided. 1st to 7th, if I'm not mistaken. 1st to 5th. I'll get those 5 days. I'll just find out whether the last day is, but 1st is confirmed. That I know because after finishing one lecture demonstration with Darshana Javeri on 30th evening, I have to take the night flight. She said you have to come on the day it's happening, 1st of December. I have to leave Chennai. I'll be there. Some of them then there is a coherence in the way these questions are pretty good somewhere in this deviation. Then you have to go into the
Revert back to the questions that they collect on.
Sir, Madam, Sir Deshpande Madam asked if she has not understood what